Good afternoon, guys. Today's Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017. This is the Daily Mix TV's afternoon edition. So it looks like Blue Apron is under fire yet again. They've been hit with multiple class action lawsuits accusing them of not disclosing information to shareholders before they went public. Now, some of that information includes Amazon's plan to disrupt the meal kit business, which it's been alleged that Blue Apron knew about prior to its IPO. Sadly, the overly hyped meal kit service has been struggling since they went public in June, with a previous valuation of about $2 billion, whereas they're worth about half of that right now. Blue Apron, frankly, is a victim of right place, wrong time, not only with Amazon's meal kit program, but also the fact that the e-commerce giant announced their acquisition of Whole Foods the day before Blue Apron's IPO. But that isn't the only challenge here. Apparently, their customer acquisition cost at Blue Apron is about $460 per customer. That's exorbitantly high for a company of this size. They're also being faced with unprojected costs, like a new facility that they have to pay for, as well as a lofty marketing budget they have to own up to, which frankly isn't working. Now, this does not bode well for a new public company, which could find itself in danger of being put into the scrap bin. Now, I got to give a quick shout out to our friends at Manhattan Mini Storage. As you guys know, Kylie and I started a charity called Rock 'em Rawhide 5 years ago, whose mission is to increase the level of adoptions of dogs and cats in shelters throughout the country. Now, we've been using Manhattan Mini Storage for a while, where we take our donations of toys and other supplies from our drop boxes at Petco and other places around the tri-state. They're inventoried at Manhattan Mini, they're sorted, and then put together to distribute to shelters and rescues based on the need level of those facilities. So Manhattan Mini Storage, which is owned by Edison Properties, they just made a donation to Rock 'em Rawhide to cover some of our costs in this operation. Brilliant company. By the way, Edison owns parking lots and other real estate holdings around the tri-state. These guys are phenomenal, and they've made a lot of strides in the last couple of years to up the ante, especially for a business like storage, which is so stale and boring. They've got fun ad campaigns. Their customer service has become incredible. As an example, last night, Kylie and I had to go to our storage location to load in donations from one of our drop boxes, and it was a fairly large donation. When we moved from one of the older Manhattan Mini locations to this one, because we needed a larger locker, a woman named Preeta helped us to get settled. Sadly, she was transferred to another location earlier this year. Well, guess what? She's back and greeted us with a huge smile, asking how things were at Rock 'em Rawhide, how the dogs and cats are, and so on. This was a genuine concern about the customer. It wasn't forced, it wasn't fake. And she's not the only one that I've seen that works for Manhattan Mini that behaves this way. So that, my fellow marketers, is how you maintain a long-term client. Better customer service, brilliant marketing approach, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. Certainly, yes, I am so happy that they made a very sweet and generous donation to us, but that's not why we're talking about this. It is all about service, especially when you look at such a crowded market like storage. Manhattan Mini does an incredible job. Now, speaking of last night, Kylie and I went to Paws Vet, which is in Hell's Kitchen on 42nd Street off 10th Avenue. The woman who started the practice, she's got a number of locations around the city. I won't throw her under the bus because I won't name her on the show, but she's a phenomenal woman who's just done a brilliant job with Pure Paws. We went to go pick up our donation there because we have a drop in at her locations. And because of the size of it, we decided to order up an Uber. Well, the driver shows up 15 minutes late because he couldn't be bothered to watch the GPS directions as we were watching on the app and paying attention. When he showed up on the wrong side of the street, refused to make a U-turn, and started the trip without us even approaching the vehicle. That's against the terms of service. So, like many consumers do, I fired off a nasty email to them saying, I'm sorry, I'm not paying for it. Unless you reimburse us, I'm never using your service again. Instead, I decided to use Curb, which is a New York City taxi-based app where you can hail a cab remotely, or you can just pay for if you're in the cab, you can pay for it using the app right away. My point is, we loaded up the donations, we got to Manhattan Mini Storage, and there was an email waiting for me from Uber, profusely apologizing, reimbursing us the money, and so on. My point is, instead of firing off an email like I did, and I'm old enough and ugly enough to admit when I'm wrong, take your time to respond to a situation. And when you're choosing a rideshare app like Uber or Lyft, remember, because of their explosive growth, they've had to bring on a lot of drivers who aren't going to follow the terms of use. So either way, just bear that in mind before you start taking it out on the company, okay? My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO of Hill Story Marketing. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. We would love to hear from you, so please email us at thedailymixtv@gmail.com. Have a great rest of your afternoon, guys. Tomorrow's hump day. It's halfway through the week. We'll see you then.